Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol. So today Ruby Roadster is having her MOT and I've got a courtesy car. And Chandlers Mini have kindly given me a 2017 Mini Cooper diesel. And when I got in the car, I thought, do you know, I'm not sure a Mini Cooper should be allowed to be a diesel. So I thought I would do a film on it. I thought I would approach this car very skeptically, because for me, and I know to very many Mini enthusiasts, the modern Mini is a complete bastardization of Mini anyway, especially the original Cooper, but to me there's something very special about Mini Coopers. I've got a John Cooper Works, as you know, and I think they're very special. And I've always wondered whether or not a Mini Cooper should be allowed to be a diesel. So I'm in the very latest one, so let's have a bit of a look around this car and try and answer that question. Now from the outside, this car looks like any other new shape Mini, an F56 Mini. I think it's sharp looking, it's cool. This particular car, although it has graphics on it from the sales department of Chandlers Mini, it is a very cool car. It's got the Cooper stripes down the bonnet, and I think it looks lovely from the outside. On the inside, they're very well appointed, the new Mini. There's a lot of space in here. As you know, I'm a big guy. There's plenty of space in here. And I guess many people will be shouting out, yeah, that's because the new Mini isn't a Mini, really. It's not that small. And the latest variant of Mini for me has maybe lost a little bit of the Mini charm that the shape, the age of my car had. It's just that little bit bigger, that little bit more grown up, but still a very nice place to be. This particular car's got cloth seats and a sort of leather inlay right in the middle of the seat. I think it looks really smart. So let's take a bit of a chat about some of the trim and the specification of this car, because I actually think it's quite interesting. So if you want a new shape Mini with a diesel engine, there's actually three choices. You can get the Mini 1 diesel, the Mini Cooper diesel, and then the Mini Cooper S diesel. The Mini 1 and the Mini Cooper both have the same engine but with different levels of tune. So this has a really interesting 3-cylinder 1.5 litre diesel engine, turbocharged, and it's producing 115 bhp. And I think it's the kind of the pick of the bunch. The Cooper S diesel is a 2-litre unit, so obviously it's got more power and more torque. But this little one, 1.5, and it's, if you have a read of other reviews, it gets really great reviews in terms of its performance. So now, straight away, I've been driving this car for a little while, and it's a typical diesel, and actually the characteristic of diesels that I don't like, it doesn't rev through. Obviously it's kind of redlining at about 5, but interestingly this one actually feels like a real amount of surge from kind of 2.5 up to about 4, and you rev it beyond 4,000 RPM and it just hits this dead spot and dies. You need to get in a lower gear, so you need to kind of use the gears in the middle. But when you do that, it's actually got some really nice sporty performance. There are 3 different modes that you can drive the car in, and they're on a selector down here. You've got a green economy mode, you've got a kind of normal driving mode, and then you've got sport mode, which gives you the ultimate go-kart feel. And I'm in the sport mode at the moment, and it really does have a nice amount of pull. And you get, when you change to the kind of sport mode, you get this sort of indication around this central console, you know, it goes red and everything. But in sport mode, it does have quite a lot of pull. And you know what? It's starting to kind of change my mind a little bit. The other thing it does, which I just think is really interesting in sport mode, is it rev matches for you. So I've driven the Cooper and the John Cooper Works of the F56, and you kind of expect those to rev match. I didn't expect this car to rev match for me, and it does. And actually, that kind of makes me change my mind a little bit as well. And the handling, it's a Mini. It's got really, really sharp handling. It's a fairly firm ride, but it's a Mini. You know, if you don't want a firm ride, you don't buy a Mini, basically. So why would you buy a Cooper diesel? Well, I guess the number one reason is going to be fuel economy. And Mini quote for this car 80 miles per gallon, which is twice what I get from my JCW Roadster. Now, whether or not that is achievable, I can't comment. I haven't had the car long enough to tell you whether that's achievable or not. My gut feel says it probably is, and at 80 miles to the gallon and a really low CO2 emission, then you know that's the kind of main driver for someone to buy this diesel car. You need to kind of put the whole Dieselgate thing to one side and make your mind up about the other issues around diesel cars at the moment. So from a fuel economy point of view, this thing performs brilliantly, but not at the expense of performance. It's a really, really nicely performing car, this. So, now this comment isn't specific to diesels clearly, but you know, from a room and practicality point of view, this 3-door Mini, it's got a reasonable amount of legroom in the back actually. You could probably get adults in there quite happily, certainly children in there quite happily. Your biggest challenge with one of these things is the boot. The boot size isn't massive. You can drop the rear seats down to give you more cargo space, but clearly that is going to be at the expense of passenger space. But coming out of corners, it does have a really nice pull. You just need to learn to drive it within its sweet spot. As I said, from kind of 2.5 to maybe 4,500 RPM. Don't try and redline it. Unfortunately, that's the characteristic I love about petrol cars, is taking them up to that red line and you get the drama of the noise of the engine. You don't get that with this. It's kind of a bit soulless and a bit lifeless, but it does suck you along the road really, really nicely. And you know, you get it on a little bit of twisty road. There you go, a little rev match for me. Put it into a corner and it's a really, really cracking little car to drive. It's got the holding and the sporty performance of a Mini, but it's got the economy and frugality that you get with a diesel. Also the lack of character, that's engine character. It still has Mini driving character and Mini handling character. It just doesn't kind of, for me, it doesn't light my fire in terms of noises under the bonnet. Might have to do a cheeky 0 to 60 test. 3, 2, 1. Go. Come on. See, there you go. About 4,500 RPM you need to be changing up. 60. It's got this power band between just shy of 3,000 RPM to about 4,500 RPM. And actually when you change at 4,500, it comes down to 3 and it hits in that power band. So you get this really nice smooth acceleration. However, if you go outside of those bands, it kind of, you suddenly hit a dip in power and a dip in performance. So I guess it's just a car you need to kind of learn how to drive quickly. I guess it's more about, I don't know, making good progress than really, really wringing its neck. And I probably shouldn't say this as a Mini owner, but one of the things I love most about my car is she actually responds to really being driven hard, revved hard, and that's what I really, really like about it. You cannot do that in this car. You have to drive it within its kind of power band capabilities. Don't get me wrong, if you do that, you still get from A to B quite quickly, but you just don't get that ultimate, you know, feeling of really maximizing the car's potential. So have I answered my question? Well, I kind of think I have. I'm still not massively convinced that they should use the Cooper name for this, but as a car, it is very, very impressive. It certainly has the performance I would expect from a Mini Cooper. It's got the looks. So it's a really interesting car, this, and I like it. I actually like it very much. Would I buy one? No, I wouldn't. I'm just not a big enough fan of diesel engines, I'm afraid. Do I understand why people buy one? Absolutely. It's a really nice mix of performance, handling and economy, and I can totally understand why people will buy one now, and I understand the car, and I get it. I'm just still not sure that it should be called a Mini Cooper. I'd love to know what you think. Put some comments below. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this very short video. Apologies for that. I didn't have a huge amount of time to get the filming done, as I've got a really busy day today, and I literally have had the car for a few hours. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have done so, give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. I would love to know what you think. Should this be allowed to be called a Mini Cooper or not? What do you guys think? And don't forget, if you haven't subscribed already, please do so for plenty more content to come. And I will see you on the next video, guys. But anyway, you take care. Drive safe.